So today we're going to talk about circles. This is what this whole chapter is about, is circles. So a circle is a set of all points in a plane that are equidistant from a given point. And that given point is your center. A radius. A radius is a segment from the center of a circle to any point on the circle. So it goes from your center to any point on the circle. Okay, so the red line is your radius. A chord is a segment whose endpoints are on the circle. So it has to be endpoint on a circle. It also is considered endpoint is on a circle. So your diameter is also a chord. Diameter is a chord that contains the center of the circle. So example 1, we're going to just identify and name things. So example A, it says name the circle. Okay, we name the circle by the center of the circle. So the center of my circle is P, so I will name it circle P. And identify a radius. Okay, there's a few different radiuses that you could write here. So a radius goes from the center of the circle to an end, the edge of the circle. So it goes P to N is an option. Okay, P to L is also an option. And P to M. You only had to name one of them. One of them would have been fine for identifying a radius. Okay, but all three of them are radiuses of our circle. Part B, in this picture, wants us to identify a chord and a diameter of the circle. Okay, a chord goes from endpoints of your circle. So there's two different chords that you could write. You only have to write one, but a chord could be JK. Okay, or it could be HG. Okay, that's our chords. Our diameter is a line that touches the end points of our circle, but it goes through the center. So it has to go through the center and touches the end points. That has to be HG. Okay, so we'd like you guys to do C, and that has you naming your circle, your radius, your chords, and your diameters. So there is a relationship between your radius and your diameter. Okay, I'm hoping most of us already know this. Okay, your radius is half of your diameter, or you could look at it as your diameter is 2 radiuses. All right, so it says in example 2, use the diagram to find the given lengths, the radius of circle A. So if we look at circle A, that's the smaller one, okay? Circle A, the radius goes from the center to the edge of the circle. So I can count. From the center to the edge of the circle, it's 1, 2 units. For it to be a diameter, is the whole length is double my radius, which would be 4, or I can just count and make sure it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It is. All right, you guys are going to do the radius of B, the diameter of B, and then you're also going to do example 3, finding the radius and the diameters of all of these circles. All right, example 4. It says if QV equals 8, so I like to put that in my picture, that is a radius. What is the diameter of circle Q? So if your radius is 8, your diameter is the whole thing, how do you figure out the whole thing? Utilizing that formula we were given at the top of this page, it's diameter equals 2 of your radiuses. So diameter equals 2 times 8. My diameter will be 16 inches. You will have to do a lot of questions like this where you go back and forth from your diameter to your radius to your diameter. All right. Next part of our notes is a little bit about tangents. So first thing is comparing two circles. Okay, they're called circle pairs. So it says two circles are congruent if and only if their radius are congruent to each other. So the radius lengths have to be exactly the same for your two circles to be congruent to each other. All circles are going to be similar. Concentric circles are coplanar circles that have the same center. These circles are not congruent though because they do not have the same radius length. All right, so we have different intersections. So you can have 2 points of intersection. That's what these look like. You can have 1 point of intersection, or you can have no points of intersection. So the next example has us asking how many common tangent lines of the circle can be drawn. What a common tangent line is the line that can touch both circles but never go inside of the circle. So it's asking you to draw a line that's on the edge of your circle, tangent, okay, meets at a right angle, at the edge of your circle that will not go into the circles at all. Okay, so I will show you how to do example A. So how we have to do this is you have to draw a line that touches this circle and this circle. So you can draw a line right here. I know my line's not the straightest, but it touches this circle and this circle. Okay, you can do the same thing on the bottom. Okay, I know my lines aren't straight, but you can also draw this way. That touches that circle, that touches that circle. And we can go the other way, here to here. All right, so I can't see anymore because if you draw on this side, it doesn't touch this circle. If you draw on this side, it doesn't touch that circle. So in this example, we have 4 tangent lines that can be drawn. That's all you have to do for this. Okay, so in part B, C, D, and then 4, 5, 6, you have to do the exact same thing. These are just closed circles. My pictures got cut off. Okay, so if I look at this one, I can draw a line here, touches both of them. I can draw a line here. And I can draw a line, actually, this is the common one people forget, you can draw a line right through the middle. It's not going inside my circle. It's touching both of them at the exact same time. And that's my answer. Okay, you have 3 lines that I drew. I'd like you guys to do the next 4 examples and double check with my notes to make sure that you got the correct answers. All right, so in example 5, it says the diameter of circle S is 30 units. So circle S, this whole thing is 30 units. So I am a person that likes to start filling things in. So if the whole thing is 30, I know over here is 15. Okay, just so that I know over here is also going to be 15. And then it tells us in circle R, the diameter is 20. Okay, so we know this whole thing is 20. And DS is 9 units. Find CD. Okay, so if we look at our picture, we know that C to D is what's missing, and we know C to S. Okay, we know C to S is 15. So we know that CD plus DS is going to equal my 15 C to S. So now it's just filling in information. CD we still don't know, but DS we know is 9 equals 15. So subtract it over and we figure out that CD will get us to be 6. Okay, I just want you to think about it as well because it is something that you will see on quizzes or your notes or even your homework assignments. I will also ask you to figure out what is the length of R to C now that you know the length of C to D. So just make sure you know how to fill in every part of that information. Okay. Next is circumference. All right, so circumference of a circle is kind of like area, if you want to consider it. I meant perimeter. Circumference is like perimeter. It's what's around the outside of our shape. So if a circle has a diameter and a radius, the circumference C equals the diameter times pi, or twice your radius times pi. Okay, so the formulas are written right below. So it's either pi diameter or 2 times pi times your radius. So it wants to find the circumference of this helipad described. Okay, so you have to read in here. It says in 2005, played tennis on the helipad in the Arab United Emirates. Okay, so it says the helipad has a diameter of 79 feet. That's the important part we need. Okay, it is nearly 700 feet high. We don't need that at all. Okay, we need the 79 feet as our diameter. So circumference equals pi times diameter. Since they gave us diameter, I'm going to use this formula. Okay, if they don't give you diameter and they give you a radius, you would want to use this formula. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you use. Just make sure you know one of them to your memory. Okay, you're just going to plug it in. C equals 79 times pi diameter. Okay, you normally see it written like this just because it looks neater, nicer, cleaner, normal way. Now plug this into your calculator. You must use the pi button in your calculator. So 79 pi, you get to be approximately 248.19 feet. That is my circumference of this helipad. All right, let's look what's next. Okay, so it says find the diameter and radius of a circle to the nearest hundredth if the circumference of a circle is 106.4 millimeters. You're going to do that formula backwards. Okay, so you know your circumference. Circumference equals pi diameter. We know our circumference. Put it in for C. 106.4 equals pi diameter. Okay, divide by pi on both sides. You will get your diameter. Okay, you can calculate it and figure it out. Once you get your diameter, how do you get your radius? You have to divide it by 2. Okay, I'm going to let you get those numbers and you're going to come up with your answer. And check my notes to make sure you have it correct. Example 8. It says a square with the side lengths of 9 inches is inscribed in circle J. Find the exact circumference. All right, so inscribed. Okay, there's 2 different definitions you have here. Inscribed is a polygon that has all of its vertices lie on the circle. Circumscribed is a circle that contains all of the vertices of the inscribed polygon. All right, so it's inscribed. So what it means is we have a square, and all of our vertices here are on our circle. Okay, that was a really awful circle. All right, but it does tell us that the side lengths are 9. It wants us to find the exact circumference. Well, first thing we need to figure out is we need to figure out what our diameter is, okay, or our radius. You can find either or. Most important thing that it says right here is exact. That means you're going to leave your answer in pi because that's the only way to write it exact. How do we figure out what our diameter is if I know a side length of 9, a side length of 9? If you've been thinking about it, Pythagorean theorem is correct. Okay, so you're going to do Pythagorean theorem, find the length. All right, so Pythagorean theorem, 9 squared plus 9 squared equals c squared. Okay, you're going to do all your math. You're going to get c equals the square root of 162. Now you're going to plug that into your formula. Okay, circumference equals pi times my diameter. Now, it said to be exact, so this is exact. The only thing that's not exact about it is I would like you to break this down. Okay, you should break this down so that it is a nice simplified radical. Okay, so check your answers. Make sure your answer matches my answer when you see the simplified radical. Have a good day.